Evening, dear devotees and friends. This Wednesday evening, we'll be reading from the Gospel of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Panchama Veda. But before that, let us start with this mantra. Tavo kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi vididitam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam Srimadatam bhuvi grinanti e bhurida janaha. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is giving us the wonderful, the example of spiritual life in his own life, and at the same time he is mentioning from different scriptures, different stories, and guiding us in the spiritual life. Moreover, the very difficult thing that he says in such a simple way. Now, we were reading the last time, one must have faith and sincerity. Hypocrisy will not do. To the sincere, God is very near. So see, this is so simple. The God is very near. The God is the great assurance. And what we need, sincerity, genuineness, faith. If we don't have the faith, then no question about the spiritual life, God realization. But if we have faith, those who don't have faith, if they have doubt, there is different class. They will be coming afterwards, whatever. We only are concerned about those who are seeing. So what are the two things necessary? Faith. Faith in the words of the scripture. And what is the scripture? Here, right this moment, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the Panchama Veda. And what he says, God is very near. How to realize God? He said that you can realize God with your sincerity. In Hindi, there's again and again to get inspiration myself and at the same time to tell all other friends. And that says, "Main ko kahan dhoondho bande, main to tera paas mo." Where you are searching me, my friend, I am so close to you. See, so nicely. I am so close to you. Why you are searching me? Very difficult places in the pilgrimage and do this, do that. That's of course all right. But what is the truth? So close, God is so close to us, so near to us. That faith, because the great souls after realization, they are telling us that God is so near to us. Then why we can't realize God? Then he is telling, खोजोगे तो अभी मिलूंगा, पल भर के तलाश में. If you truly search me, here comes the word sincerity. First is the faith, then comes the sincerity. That sincerity is the main. पल भर के तलाश में. Look at it, the word. How that तलाश means search. तलाश पल भर के, in a twinkling of an eye. That much? This is a story, and you know, those who are following my classes in the Ashtavakra Gita, that there also the king Janaka, when he heard, in a twinkling of an eye, one can realize the Brahma, the Brahma Jnana, the knowledge of the Brahman. So afterwards he got his guru, the Ashtabakra. He went along with him. Then what? The guru said, very tactfully, very nicely, after becoming Brahma Jnani, there will be no difference between guru and the shishya, the disciple and the master, no differences. So you give me the guru pranami that you are supposed to give when you receive some spiritual advice. You are supposed to give something to the guru for his livelihood. Give me that. And what he gave? He was so excited, the king Janaka, to realize the Brahman. He said, Guru, you want? Okay, this whole kingdom that I have, I give it to you. Then he added, I give my everything to you. Please give me the knowledge. Then what the Guru did? Guru told, where? Okay, very good. I accept all your gift. Now wait here till I come back. What the Janaka was thinking? In the beginning, he was restless. He was thinking, oh, maybe that this man is going to cheat me. Then no. Since I have accepted him as a guru, I must have the complete faith on him. Then he was having the faith. Then slowly, he started thinking, where I will go. I am now thinking that I have given the whole kingdom to him. And moreover, I have given this body to him. I don't have now authority to walk from here out. No, I cannot unless he says. It is his. Moreover, why I am thinking? The mind I have given to my guru. I don't have right to think even. The Janaka stood over there and meditating, standing meditation we can say, and slowly his mind became tranquil and he realized the Brahman. See, this is the technique. How the gurus are helping us. So this is the technique. Pal bhar ke tallas mo. मैं को कहाँ ढूंढो बंदे, मैं तो तेरा पास मो, खोजोगे तो अभी मिलूंगा, पल भर के तल्लास मो. The wonderful words and the words of inspiration. What is the spirituality? Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, restlessness. This austerity for the spirituality, austerity for the God realization is the restlessness for God. So this is a wonderful word, restlessness to see God, to realize God. What type of restlessness? Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of a child who felt that he has lost his mother and wants to go back to the mother. One must have the yearning of a child. In the page 673 of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, that we have already read that portion last time. I read it again. One must have the faith and sincerity. Hypocrisy will not do. To the sincere, God is very near, but He is far, far away from the hypocrites. One must have for God the yearning of a child. The child sees nothing but confusion when his mother is away. You must try to cajole him by putting a sweetmeat in his hand, but he will not be fooled. He will only say, "No, I want to go to my mother." One must feel such yearning for God. Ah, what yearning! How restless a child feels for his mother. Nothing can make him forget his mother. So, after describing this, Sri Ramakrishna is to observe the whole society. Wherever he used to go, whatever he used to see, he used to utilize those for the spiritual teaching. Almost all of us, we know the yearning for. In my personal life also, when I was a boy of maybe 7 or 8 years old, so I was traveling with my mother and some other family members at a tram, and I was curious to see what is happening in the driver's cabin. It is closed. If on the glass you can see, I went to there, and then somehow, without here, my whole family members, they got down in one stop. The tram conductor, in those days it was all very empty, not much crowd. So the conductor noticed, he came and told, "Boy, where would you like to go?" I turned back and didn't see the mother. And the mother got down the next before stop. And that I can remember. Immediately flash inside the mind, "Oh, I have lost my mother. What will happen to me?" The whole world. The curiosity about the driver, how he is driving the tram, so everything lost. Then the conductor was telling, I will help you, I will help you. And then your mother will surely come. But I was restless. I wanted to jump from that running tram. Then I can feel. Many of you must be having that type of a feeling. So this is actually what happens. This is, every one of us, we know that. The yearning, when we feel that type of yearning for God. So without God, I cannot survive. That is the ultimate condition. And that is called the restlessness. Restlessness for God. Sometimes we are restless to achieve something. Some worldly things. Maybe some legal litigations are going on. So we want to be successful. I'm very restless. What is going to happen? Every day we are inquiring. So many things. But for the God, restlessness. And Sri Ramakrishna, he brings our mind to that. So he is not telling anything else. Very basic thing to realize God. If the God is with form or without form, religion, this path, that path, that is not the question at all. Question is whether you have a faith that God is there. Second, like a child who wants to go back to his mother. Are you eager? Are you restless? That is the main thing. Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. After giving the example, he is telling, he to whom the enjoyment of worldly happiness appears tasteless, he who takes no delight in anything of the world, money, name, creature comforts, sense pleasure becomes sincerely grips taken for the vision of the mother. To him alone the mother comes running, leaving all her other duties. So if we are trying and we are not getting the realization of God, what is the problem? We are not that way restless to realize God. Now the question, can anyone have this type of restlessness? No. Why? Because in the Bhagavad Gita we find, so it comes from our previous birth, our actions, as a result it comes. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, sloka 37. Arjuna asks Sri Krishna, O Lord, if a person who had faith is or her spiritual goal, what will happen to that soul? When Arjuna is asking this, because he was doubting, I am not enjoying this world. Okay, for God realization. And then I don't realize God too. Then what will happen to this life? Total wastage. I couldn't enjoy and I couldn't realize also. So that was the question. That is a very good question. And Lord is giving the answer with the full authority because He is the God Himself. In reply, the Lord Krishna is telling, Partha, naibeha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyanakrit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Very beautifully he is mentioning naiba iha na naibeha na iha na amutra, here in this world and not in the heaven after the shastasya vidyate. It is a word of consolation and encouragement. Whatever little that we are trying over here to realize God, nothing is. This will take me to the next life, and from there, if I am sincere, to the more higher and higher. Lord Krishna is giving the assurance. He is telling this is the, no my dear, there is no destruction for them, no evil on them who are trying to realize God in this life but fail to do so. What will happen to them? First, he is mentioning after death, he or she goes to the world of righteousness. Many people, they like to know what happens to those devotees, those who want to realize God and giving full attention in that. After death, what happens to them? If they are really sincere, if their mind is with that prayer that I like to go to God, they go to the world of righteousness. Who are those righteous? Now suppose I love God in the form of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada, Swami Vivekananda. After that, many people, millions of them, they are doing. After the death, we will go to one place. And we will have the company of the dead. Those who love Krishna, they will go to that Krishna Loka, Vaikuntha they say, or Vishnu Loka, or are trying to realize God without form, they will go in their own way. Here the Lord Krishna is telling, after death, they go to the world of righteousness and living there for some years, because the birth is so tiring, they don't like to come back again. So they like to be over there happily. But after then the karma phala is exhausted, you get the pull back to this earth. Take birth. When they come back, what happens? Take birth in the home of the pure and prosperous. Prapya Punyakritam Lokan. Punyakritam Lokan is the place of the righteous. Ushitva Shashyati Samaha Shuchinam, pure, Srimatam, prosperous, Gehe, in that house, Yoga Prashta Vijayate. So when one is born in a very good family, where they have sufficient to maintain, to eat and all that, thinking, oh, there is no money for the next day, what will happen? Or very rich, but at the same time poor in their thought, constantly thinking how to get more wealth, how to cheat others, how to do this business, how to do that. These righteous people never take birth in those families. This is the assurance of Lord Sri Krishna. So those who are having this birth may get assurance that we are better, very better, better off. There we will start. Second, he is mentioning or she is born in a family rich in wisdom. Rich in wisdom. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is taking birth in a family rich in wisdom. His father is a great soul. So the Lord Sri Ramakrishna is coming over there. They are not very rich, but they had sufficient to eat. And at the same time, they had the richness of wisdom. His father, his mother, they were really great people. So these are the souls. And then the Sri Krishna is commenting, though such a birth is rare. Why? Because the avatara, the God comes over. Richness is there, richness in wisdom. And third, he says, there she comes to in touch with the knowledge acquired and strive further for perfection. After the birth in a righteous family, and they have sufficient money to take care of the daily life, so from this suddenly that knowledge started opening up, and they feel attracted to go for sadhana, for the God realization. Tatra tam buddhi samyogam labhate purva dehikam yatate cha tato bhuya samsiddho kurunandana. So this is the way Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling us. So when we get the restlessness for God, because of our karma phala. Some people, they are trying to realize God, there is also their past karma, and they are born in a good family. Now a time came when the karma phala felt the urge to become a monk, so they left the hearth and home and became the monk, and they started life again over from there. Or those who are in the household but feeling though this is sufficient, this is enough, I don't like to spend my time for earning money. Though whatever I am having, it is sufficient. I will spend my mind and the time reading holy books, listening to the holy, controlling my senses, controlling my mind. So these are the groups we can see, we can find them. We call them devotees. But the very great one, those who refuse everything. I have seen a monk, they were still there. They are so sincere to realize God, they are going on trying. It is not day one or two. It goes on years and years and years together. The same life, getting up in the morning, meditating, taking the name of God, and going to the food and little just mixing with the other monks, then going and attending the prayer, reading holy books constantly. When they were told that you should become some in church, they humbly refused. No, it is not possible for me. Because their attraction to that life is so genuine. So that is the way we can understand their advanced soul. Not that they are disturbing anyone, criticizing anyone, or commenting about the administration, nothing like that. Why? Because their mind has already withdrawn from all these. And that is called restlessness. And that comes only from the previous life. Suddenly we cannot grow that. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, be sincere, have faith. That restlessness is the whole thing. Whatever path you follow, whether you are a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Shakta, a Vaishnava, a Brahma. Vital point is restlessness. This is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. No narrowness. You have to become only the follower of my philosophy, then only you will get the realization. He never said that. The sampradaya, that is the community, no, it is not there. The narrowness, it is not there. So that is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. That's why he is becoming so popular. Every biography, his life, or reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, immediately become attracted. The foreigners, they never knew about the Hinduism. By chance, they get some quotations from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. After reading that, they become so happy. Immediately, they started inquiring about Sri Ramakrishna, reading the book. I met one young boy, the 17, 18 years young boy, secondary school. He came and he was trying to wear a dhoti, like the Bengali fashion, like the Indians. So he purchased that because he saw the picture. He purchased and then managed it somehow, and he came very happy. You know how he was calling Sri Ramakrishna? Thakur. Here naturally we have to accept the previous birth. He is born over here in America, in an American family, and they are traditionally Christians, faith, but still how this boy, only 17, 18 years old, is getting attracted to Sri Ramakrishna he had. Now he is reading, he purchased those books and constantly keep the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in his hand, and whenever there is a time he will. So this is the proof of the past life. God bless him, may he realize God. But this is the way always, it is so important. Besides, there are errors in all paths. Sri Ramakrishna says, everyone thinks his watch is right. Matter of fact, no watch is absolutely right. But that doesn't hamper one's work. If a man is restless for God, he gains the company of the sadhus and as far as possible correct sadhus help. Friends, this is also very important. Sometimes we are sincere, we think that we should realize God, and we try to get that the advices, but unfortunately, this is the word I should use, unfortunately, we go to someone who cannot properly guide. So we don't understand where to go. So we see the temple, we see the person there, so we talk to them, then we get attracted to that, and then slowly we go to a narrow lane and we think that we are on the right track. Okay, God bless them, but those who are blessed, they come to this broad daylight, the openness like the ocean. Every paths are leading to the same goal. To accept this, to understand this, it needs broadness. Mentioning, I kept these two lines underlined and mentioned it is important. There are errors in all paths. We are only unnecessarily and thinking my path is the best, but are you sincerely following it? There are errors in all paths. Then he is telling, if a man is restless for God, he gains the company of sadhus. Who is a sadhu? In other places, Sri Ramakrishna said, whose mind has completely gone to God. Jar mon antaratma ishware gato hoyeche. The whole soul, his whole thought, his whole life is dedicated to God. That means there is no selfish motive. There is no his selfish the agenda, nothing is there. Only pure love. Only love. Love for each and everyone who is trying to realize God, who is coming to God, who is trying to become good. So that is the main thing. And it is possible they correct themselves with the help of the sadhus. The sadhus will guide them. So don't do this. You should not think in this way. You should not behave in this way. They guide like this. Here in America it is very difficult because we are all so gentle, courteous. Someone is doing something wrong, we feel hesitant to tell that. But sometimes the guru should tell to guide them. Maybe in the beginning the disciple or the devotee misunderstand them, but afterwards they will understand, they will appreciate, they will be grateful. So this is the spiritual path. Then Brahma Samaj, the Sri Ramakrishna stood up and lost his consciousness. The Sri Ramakrishna who was talking, his mind was always on that high level of spirituality. His mind merged into that. In the evening, every evening, the followers of the Ramakrishna, they sing that composed by Swami Vivekananda himself, the beautiful song, Khandana Bhavo Bandhana, Jago Bandhana Bandito Maya. Then after that, the first line is, O God, please make me free from the bondage of worldliness. Please make me free from the bondage of worldliness. That's the first line. Swami Vivekananda himself. And to whom we are praying? Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, who is so eager to give us liberation. So every evening, if we have the time, if we play that cassette, it is available in the YouTube also, Belur that cassette is there. If we sing that song and if we sit down partial consciousness and began to dance in an ecstatic mood, ecstasy. The word that we use, but we don't understand that. The ecstasy is completely different. They forget all around things. And they become so happy. The happiness is coming out. They don't understand what to do. They start dancing. Through that, the dancing only, they can express their joy. Young boy, the young man, he realized, he saw the goddess Kali leaving. The whole world, the goddess Kali standing. Saw the young man and the great joy that he got. He came, and to express that joy, he prayed to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, can you please teach me a song? That time you cannot meditate. You are full with that. You are mixed in that. Only the feeling is joy, and tremendous joy. And that happiness, in different corners of the temple, Dakshineshwar, going on singing that song that Sri Ramakrishna taught him. That his mind was so high, and he was teaching, he was talking to those people, so stoop in worldliness and thinking themselves learned people. So Sri Ramakrishna, the God himself, was trying to bring them on the right track of righteousness. And The moment Trailakya started, the mind went to that, merged in that, and in that ecstasy, he started dancing. It was a never to be forgotten scene. Master Mahashaya, never to be forgotten scene. Once you see this, you cannot forget it. And when you read this, once Ramakrishna, faith in his life and words, and we can imagine that particular scene. The Sri Ramakrishna is dancing, he is forgetful of the body, and he is dancing in great joy, and the whole joy is expressed through that. And when we see that, because the little mind, we cannot forget that. The Master Mahashaya is mentioning, it was a never to be forgotten scene. Bankim and his English at him in amazement. Was this God intoxicated state? The devotees also watched him with wondering eyes. Over, the master touched the ground with his forehead, saying, Bhagavat Bhakta Bhagavan. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he always, through different words, indicating that you have to realize God. The Bhagavat is the scripture. It's giving you the knowledge. And Bhakta is the student who is learning that knowledge. And what is that ultimate goal? To become the God yourself. And that you acquire, then you become God yourself. Bhagavat, Bhakta, then the Bhagavan. The scripture, then the devotee, and the God. So I have to become God myself. That is the teaching. Salutations to the Gyanis, Yogis, Bhaktas. Salutation to all. To realize God sincerely, Sri Ramakrishna is with him. That is Hinduism. Those who talk about Hinduism should understand this. Hinduism is complete embrace and doing everything. Sarvagrashya lingam, that's a word that has been used. Embracing each and everything. Embracing them. Not for the hypocrites. They are the different class. So they, whatever will happen to them, we don't have time to talk about that. Think about that. So we are for the sincere, wherever. To realize God, crying for God, praying to God. Question, see, is coming. The Lord came in the form and he destroyed the demon, they say. So Ravana was a very powerful but egoistic person. The Lord went and destroyed him. And Lord came in the form of Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna collected all these who were disturbing the real religion and destroyed them. But Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the same God, that Lord Vishnu, in the form of Sri Ramakrishna, he never killed anyone. He was not having any weapon in his hand. His greatest weapon was humbleness. He used to be so humble. Even an egoistic person standing before him used to feel, oh, what shall I do? He is so humble, so genuine, so sincere. and so full of love and sincerity. So what is to happen? The people who is to come to examine him, they is to get slowly transformed into the high spiritual temperament. We have heard how the Bankim Chandra was conversing with Sri Ramakrishna. Then after these, when he talked and he showed that it's not only mere words, but it is in his life, then the Bankim started thinking seriously. He is asking, Sir, how can one develop divine love? The Sri Ramakrishna giving the reply, again through restlessness. The restlessness a child feels for his mother. That means first you have to have the faith in the existence of God. Second, a genuine urge to realize God. And that urge will lead you to the restlessness as a child feels to go back to its mother. God, please come and show me, teach me, who are you, how are you, how. After the realization, I don't to know it. Please come before me and teach me, tell me. If we are genuine, go and pray to God with a sincere heart and with a tearful eyes. As because God is truth, the God can take any form, God can, and the God can teach me appearing before me or through someone else. If a man can weep like that, like a child for God, he can even capital see him. At the approach of the dawn, eastern horizons become red. Then one knows it will soon be sunrise. Likewise, if you see a person restless for God, you can be pretty certain that he hasn't long to wait. A disciple asked his teacher, Sir, please tell me how I can see God. Come with me, said the Guru, and I went to a lake, and both. Suddenly the teacher at the water. After a few moments, he released him, and the disciple raised his head and, how did you feel? The disciple said, Oh, I thought I should die. I was panting for breath. The teacher said, when you feel like that for God, then you will know you have his vision. Let me tell you something. By floating on the surface, to Bankim, the Lord is telling, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, what you will gain by floating on the surface. It doesn't. To get the real gem, you must dive deep. You must dive, otherwise you can't get the gem. Listen to a song. Then he started singing the famous song, Dive deep, O mind, dive deep in the ocean of God's beauty. Dub 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 rup shagore amar mon. So that is the song. All listen spellbound. Again Sri Ramakrishna began to talk. To Bankim, there are some who do not want to dive. They say, won't we become deranged if we go to excess about God? Referring to those who are intoxicated with divine love, they say, these people have lost their heads. But they don't understand this simple thing. God is the ocean of Amrita, immortality. Once I said to Narendra, suppose there were a cup of syrup and you were a fly, where would you sit to drink the syrup? Narendra said, I would sit on the edge of the cup and stretch my neck to drink it. Why? I asked. What is the harm of plunging into the middle of the cup and drinking the syrup? Narendra answered, then I should stick to the syrup and die. My child, I said to him, that is not the nature of the nectar of Satchidananda. It is the nectar of immortality. Man does not die from diving into it. On the contrary, he becomes immortal. So when we are going to God and forgetting all other things, sometimes people may think that, is it good to behave like that? Sri Ramakrishna is giving the reply to those. Bankim bowed low before the master. He was about to take his leave. Look at it. The Bankim Chandra, he came, and in the beginning he was not showing that courtesy because he was not knowing what is this Sri Ramakrishna. He thought he is a priest. Maybe he will talk about something. Maybe he will ask for some help, money and all that. Usually the priests they do. But now, having that wisdom from Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is slowly coming to him, accepting, understanding him. Then Bankim is telling, Sir, I am not such an idiot as you may think. I have a prayer to make. Please be kind enough to grace my house with the dust of your holy feet. So this is how Sri Ramakrishna used to slowly enlighten the heart of others. It is not converting a person. The converting, I am throwing my ideology, pressurizing others to accept it. It's nothing like that. Rather, is transforming them. It's not converting, it is transforming them. And how they are transformed? Oh, follow me, listen my word only. Nothing like that. Only be good, be genuine, be sincere, and try to do good to others. Love God. So that is the transformation. From a selfish person, he becomes a very good person. And then, understanding that this world is temporary, that same person becomes God itself. So that is the transformation. That is genuinely Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. That's why we always say, if we go and talk to the people, if the people understand it, that they themselves will be transformed. You need not to force them. So here he is telling, please come to visit my. That's nice. I shall go if God wills. I shall go if God wills. That there too you will see devotees of God. The Bankim is telling that I will arrange this type of meeting in my home and you will find some devotees over there too. This master, Sri Ramakrishna, is smiling. How so? What kind of devotee are they? Are they like those who said, Gopala, Gopala, Keshava, Keshava? All started laughing because they heard this story from Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. I will read this story again over here. This is a very interesting hypocrisy. The majority of the people, they will be showing that they are so genuine and so religious minded, and they will be having some marks on their forehead, and they will be covering their body with the holy clothes. But in reality, they are not so. The God will never go to them. The Sri Ramakrishna, through the story, is giving us that caution. Don't try to behave like that. Be genuine. And he is telling a devotee, what is the story of Gopal, sir? Master Sri Ramakrishna is smiling. Let me tell you, at a certain place there is a goldsmith shop. The workers were known as pious Vaishnavas. They have string of beads around their necks, religious marks on their foreheads, and bags containing rosaries in their hands. They repeat the name of God aloud. One can almost call them sadhus. Only they have to work as goldsmith to earn their bread and support their family. Many customers, hearing of their piety, come to the shop because they believe that in that shop there will be no trickery with their gold and silver. When the customers enter the shop, they see the workers repeating the name Hari with their tongue and doing their work with their hands. No sooner do the customers take seats in the shop than one of the workers cry out, Keshava, Keshava, Keshava. Keshava is the name of Sri Krishna, but it has a meaning. K means who, Eshava, all this. Who are these people? A few minutes later, another says, Gopala, Gopala, Gopala. Gopala, another name of Sri Krishna. But Go means cow also. So that fellow is indicating they are the cowherds, cowherd. After they talk a little while, the third man cry out, Hari, Hari, Hari. In the meantime, the customers have almost finished their transactions. Then the fourth exclaim, Hara, Hara, Hara. Now Hari is the name of Krishna again. And it has another meaning. Hari means, shall I rob of him? Haran, so rob of. And the master over there, their owner, is telling, okay, do that. Hara, Hara. The customers are very much impressed with the devotion and fervor of owners and feel themselves quite secure in handing the money. They are sure they won't be cheated. But do you know what lies behind all this? The man who says Keshava, Keshava, after the arrival of the customers, who are they? Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. So lastly, the Bankim took his leave, but he was absent-minded. When he reached the door, he discovered that he had dropped his shawl in the room. He was in his shirt sleeves. A gentleman handed him the shawl. Why the Bankim? He was a great soul. He was a great thinker. He was a great patriot. At the same time, he was a devotee also. He tried to understand Lord Krishna in his own way, in his own fashion. That is the reason, as because he was having this background, the God, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, spent so much of time to break the bondage, or we can say to remove the cover from over the mind of the Bankim Chandra. So that is the love for God. You know, the God, he loves the devotees. And when he sees the genuine people, he comes and helps. And we have to understand that. Sometimes some people will come and tell us something and we start thinking it is true, this is true. That means the God is sending his information, his guidances through that person. And here the God's Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna himself. And he is guiding. So Bankim was deeply thinking about that and he forgot about his shawl. The extra cover that usually the aristocrat of the Bengali society they used to put on them. So that he got back. Of the devotees of other house, Sharat and Shannal were Brahmins, but other belonged to the lower caste of the goldsmith. And so the two Brahmins quickly left. See, after listening all this, the Sharat and the another person, the Sharat afterwards became the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna and a monk of the Ramakrishna order as the great soul, and the Shannal, another person. See how in the Western world we cannot understand, but in India it was so much so, as because that though other was highly educated person, he was holding a very responsible position, even then because of his birth, they were not ready to take food into that family where Sri Ramakrishna himself was taking food. So this is the narrowness about the God. So why he mentioned? Because this is the way the Brahmins and the non-Brahmins and all these, the Sri Ramakrishna, the master, the Sharat and Shannal had been coming to the master only a short time and did not know how fond the master was of other. The master used to say that the devotees form a separate caste by themselves. Among them there could be no caste distinction. This is the uniqueness of the Ramakrishna mission. No caste distinction, no religious differences, no linguistic differences, because we believe in Vedanta, which teaches each soul is potentially divine, in the words of Swami Vivekananda. Other entertained the master and the devotees with a feast. It was quite late in the evening when the devotees returned home, and cherishing in their hearts the image of the master in his spiritual ecstasy and remembering his words of great wisdom. The last para of this chapter, Bankim could not make it, though he said, since Bankim had invited Sri Ramakrishna to visit his home, the master a few days later sent Girish and M. Master Mahashaya to his Calcutta residence. At the time, Bankim had a long discussion with these two devotees about the master, Girish Chandra Ghosh. He was also very famous. So he told them that he wanted to visit Sri Ramakrishna again, but his desire was not fulfilled. That this is the story of the conversation. Since God wants to help us, but only if we are unfortunate, we don't understand that. Thank you, friends. And if there is any question, let us listen.
So there is one question from Millie Agnes. He is asking, Pranam Maharaj, since you discussed different faiths, I would hope to know if mixing religions is okay, or is it better to follow one path only, since some paths will mix? Thank you.
Oh, this is a wonderful idea.
Millie Agnes.
But mainly that is the mixing different paths, that depends on the person who is trying to do it. There is nothing harm. If you go to any path, any religion, devotion is always there. So you are taking the devotion from all religion. Hinduism, then the what's called the Islam, Christianity, all they talk about devotion to God. But to go to the root, faith is the first thing, as we were discussing, and all are telling God is there. Conception of God is different in different religion. And Hindus will say God is all pervading consciousness. But the God can take form and also can be without form. This is a Hindu conception. Now you take that God is there first. Second, the genuine approach to God, like a child to the mother. No harm. You are crying to God and saying, God, I don't know. Who are you? How you look? But I have heard that you are there. Will you please come and show me how are you? And if you are sincere, He will come, the God will come and show you. And suppose you think that I like to have a God as a little baby on my lap, and I like to love that God in that form, you will get it. Or in the mother form, or in the father form, or any way you like to see God. So you can choose different religion, but those things which all religion are, but faith is yours, genuineness and sincerity is yours. And as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, if you are sincere, if you are genuine, and if you are praying wholeheartedly, God will surely reveal as you want to see God in that fashion. Thank you.
The next question is from Srima Vishwas. She is asking, how should we pray? Srima Vishwas.
See, Srima, the prayer, prayer is opening your heart to God. Any fashion you can. The one person used to go and complain to the God, why you were not listening to me, and why I have to come all the time and sit before you, and because I am so busy, I don't have time. So wherever I am, you should be with me. Like that he used to pray. He was a shopkeeper. He said, when I am there, sometimes the customers are not there. I can talk to you. So he used to go on. And what type of talk? He used to say that, look at this. Nowadays there is no customer. I am not earning money. What will happen? He developed friendship with God. He used to converse with, and that was the prayer. The prayer means opening up your heart, and whatever way you like to communicate, you can do. Do it genuinely, sincerely, and with faith. Thank you. So let us conclude with the pranam mantra. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.